We will now move to the last speaker of this session, and it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Elodie Brun. Elodie works as a scientist at dsm-firmenich in Switzerland, and she's also a member of the core team of the Swiss Women in Chemistry of the Swiss Chemical Society. And she has co-initiated a mentoring program for young women in chemistry in Switzerland that she will now tell us about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. And it's a great pleasure for me to be here to talk a little bit about our Swiss Women in Chemistry network and mentoring program in particular. And first of all, I'm not sure everyone is familiar with Swiss Women in Chemistry, so I wanted to present a little bit who we are. So Swiss Women in Chemistry was launched in September 2019 under the umbrella of the Swiss Chemical Society by three female chemists, Maud Reiter from dsm-firmenich, Rebecca Buller from the University of Zurich, and Rachel Avey from the University of Basel. And since then, the core team has progressively changed, and now, together with Sonia, who is here, and Francesca Paradisi from the University of Brun, we are trying to pursue these activities and support women in Switzerland. So what is this network? It's a network with members from different horizons, so from chemistry, life science, biotechnologies, for example, across all career levels, and people can come from academia, industry, government, or whatever is the horizon. I have to mention that it's not meant to be exclusive. It's an inclusive network, so we are more than happy to welcome any man to our events. So if you want to join, feel free. And what do we want to do? We want to support early researchers in their professional development. We want to create an open platform to exchange ideas. We want to support and generate visibility for female scientists, and finally encourage networking, mentoring, and collaboration. So this is all what we do, but what is interesting for me is to tell you also how we came to this idea. And actually, this is the testimonial from one of the founders of Swiss Women in Chemistry, Maud Reiter, who told me that everything came to her mind with her colleagues in 2018. At that time, she was invited to give a talk at a conference at the ACS in the United States, and she was pregnant with her second child. And she had to decide, should I decline, or should I go there with my little baby, 4 months old? And she said, okay, she's in good health, everything is organized well, so I decided to go. But really, there is a need for equity in science. A little bit later, she was participating to a leadership training at the company, and there was some practical exercises, and at some point they had to create a team, a core team, to lead a project. And at this point, she realized that she was part of the problem, because even herself, she was experiencing unconscious bias, and she only selected men in the core team. And finally, a few months later, she participated to the Swiss Industrial Chemistry Symposium. And as you can see, among all the speakers invited, there were no female. There was only one woman in the organizing committee, whereas 30% of the attendees were women. So together with Rachel and Rebecca, they said, okay, instead of complaining, let's try to do something and become part of the solution. And what they wanted to do was to support and generate visibility for female scientists. But the question is, what is our sphere of action? What can we do? Where can we make the difference? So these are statistics that we saw before. If we look at distribution between women and men at the master or PhD level, it's not far from 50-50, so this is still fine. If we look at the position of professor in academia, we go down to 25% women. If we look at the figures in industry, basically we have the same trend. First of all, science industry report that we have roughly 36% women in the pharmaceutical and chemical industry in Switzerland. but it's overall. So it covers all the activities of the companies. So what is the statistic in R&D? More difficult to say. What we know is that if you look at the support functions or lab functions, you have roughly 50% women and men. Production, the percentage of women decreases to 35% because it's more technical. Then intermediate management, it goes down to 30%, and top management below 20%. So it means that even if people graduate in science, they don't stay in STEM. So what can we do? There is something to do between the end of the PhD and, let's say, the beginning of the career. What they also did is that they looked at the Swiss Chemical Society registration figures. And what we see is that clearly people, the majority of the registrations are students or early career stage. What we see is that if we look at the male members, the distribution of members across the age is the same, but it's really increasing for women, which means that we have younger, let's say a lot of young women which are getting member of the Swiss Chemical Society. And you see the distribution, the ratio between male and women, which is increasing in favor of the women. So we decided to focus on this subgroup, which are early career women in chemistry. And now, what do we do? Well, we are trying to. We have decided to launch some networking events to try to promote networking. So we had the opportunity to participate to the last 3 editions of the ILMAC in Basel with corporate insights and career presentations and networking as well. And we'll be present to the next ILMAC in 2 weeks. We also launched some corporate insights events to allow for students to go to on site at different companies. As you saw, we have several companies participating. We have their career talks, presentations from the company, roundtable discussions, and on-site visits, which allow them to have a first step in industry. As part of these networking events, we also we're participating to the Global Women Breakfast. So we have every year a breakfast organized, which is held on the day of the Women in Science, International Women in Science Day, sorry. And this is an occasion also for us to release a special edition of articles. So this is an initiative that we have launched with Helvetica Chimica Acta, which made a collection of articles highlighting female authors, in Switzerland. So female authors could be the first author or the corresponding author. And we take the opportunity of this breakfast to release this special collection of articles. And I think Richard has some copies if you want to have a look at it. Finally, we have our mentor-mentee program since 2019. So this is a program which covers all Switzerland. We have divided Switzerland in 3 regions: Romandy, the Bern-Basel area, and Zurich area. It's a 6-month program, and we are opening this program to students from the master to the postdoc level. And we try to pair these students with mentors from different horizons depending on their needs. And it's quite a successful program because until now we had more than 20 mentor-mentee pairs per edition. And the students seem to be quite happy about this. We have some people applying several times to participate. And I think what is interesting and important is also to share testimonials from participants. And what we learned is that students say that it gives them more confidence, more a lot of guidance, which is really needed when you don't know exactly where you want to go, and also empowerment. But we also realize that it's really beneficial for the mentors as well, because it gives them a chance to connect with the younger generation. So it's quite a successful program so far, and we hope it will continue a lot in the future. And with this, I just would like to thank you for your attention.